Perfect. So, hi and welcome everyone. I'm Benoit from Unicast, and we are thrilled to have you here today for our latest AMA. So, today's session is going to be special as we dive into the world of Web3 marketing with our guest, Jivan, Head of Marketing at TZ APAC. So, hi, Jivan.
Hi, Yuan. Great to be here. Really a big fan of the work that Unicast is doing. There's a lot of very good talent in Web3, out of Web3, and it's a great space. So yeah, really grateful for the work you're doing to connect everyone together.
Thanks a lot. So, Jivan brings a wealth of experience and unique insight into this field, and in one of the most thriving ecosystem in the blockchain world right now. So, for those who are new to our platform, a quick intro about Unicast. We are building a Web3 job board and career hub right on Telegram. Our platform connects professionals with leading Web3 projects, enabling you to browse, apply, and share job opportunities seamlessly. We are growing rapidly and onboarding new partners each day, and we now collaborate with more than 80 partners and serve a thriving community over 20K Web3 professional. So today's AMA will explore different topics such as evolution of marketing in this field, tips for how to break into Web3 marketing, emerging trends and strategies in the space, as well as advice for marketers transitioning from traditional industry to Web3. So before we start, as always, this AMA will be recorded, so don't worry if you miss any part of it. Feel free to drop your question in the chat. We'll try to address as many of them as possible in the next 30 minutes. Okay, so let's get started. Jivan, welcome. Really appreciate you joining us today again. So before we get into the specific question to kick things off, would you like to uh, introduce yourself and share a bit about your journey into Web3 and marketing?
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. So, first and foremost, I just like to share that I was actually from the Web2 scene before this. I was in the edutech space working for a startup called Tiger Hall. But um, I actually had a lot of interest about blockchain since a while, and that really, I would say, accelerated in 2021 when I was learning a lot about NFTs and stuff, and bought my first NFT actually that year. And it was just I just had a lot of curiosity over this space, over this new technology. And what happened was there was, of course, this opening that we had at TZ APAC, but it was for the head of digital marketing and communications role. And I just felt that it was really the right step for me to take. And you can only learn and immerse yourself in a new technology if you are actually in the industry. It makes you at the center of everything. It makes you, learn more and meet a lot of people and really expand your horizons. So, so yeah, that's how I ended up joining TZ APAC.
And so, for those who are unfamiliar, can you explain a bit what TZ APAC does and how it contributes to the Tezos ecosystem? Or even more, what is a Tezos for the people who are maybe not familiar with it?
Absolutely. So Tezos is a layer one proof of stake blockchain. It's one of the pioneering ones over there. It's a blockchain that is known for innovation. You have a lot of very exciting artists creating art on Tezos. You have a lot of very exciting projects and startups also creating really good dApps and products on the Tezos blockchain as well. In terms of TZ APAC, we are basically the adoption entity for APAC, and you can think of us as an ecosystem enabler. So if you have artists who want to further their craft on Tezos, we've basically assisted a lot of them over the last couple of years. Right now, if we talk about this year as well as last year, our focus has been on empowering projects. So we have a startup studio called 45 Labs, where some of the most exciting and high potential projects have joined to build on Tezos, as well as the EVM compatible layer 2 called Etherlink. So basically, any projects at the moment who need help and wanna grow in this space, 45 Labs is a really good place to do it. It's basically organized by the TZ APAC team, and yeah, the team is just very passionate about just enabling and empowering a lot of as many people as possible in and out of Asia.
And I think you have a very thriving community in Asia. And as I recall, you hosted quite a big event during Token 2029 in Singapore as well.
That's right, and that event is called Tezos Realm. And so I was talking to you about 45 Labs earlier. So we had 7 projects in 45 Labs last year, and all of them got to showcase in Tezos Realm, in addition to 8 other projects from across the world, all in the Tezos ecosystem. So we had 15 projects basically showcasing, and we had about 500 people coming in to test out the products. We had VCs coming in, partners coming in, end users, basically just people wanting to understand what's the innovation that's happening out there. So it was a really fun and action packed event.
Yeah, perfect. So, like now to dive directly in the topic, what's your definition of Web3 marketing?
So, when I was in school, actually, and when we used to learn about marketing, there was the 4 Ps. I don't know if you can remember this, Yuan, but or anybody, any other marketing students here who've taken a course or subject or something like that. It was the 4 Ps. So obviously the 4 Ps has taken a very different shape at the moment, but in terms of ease, let me just continue with the 4 Ps and try to repurpose it for Web3. So if you look at product, when you market a Web3 product, we must understand that the consumers are not just trying to transact, they are actually looking for innovative experiences that's powered by a wonderful technology like blockchain. So, if you're looking for like an NFT collection or it's a DApp, basically products, when we market products, we should invite users to join in the fun, to co-create value, and just to be part of how the product is, the trajectory of the product and how the product is evolving. And when you talk about price, sometimes a lot of tokenomics is also involved. And if will be good for users to participate, where they can earn tokens and they can trade value in unique ways. There's also a lot of community governance that happens at the moment. So uh, it's more than just price. We are actually part of a much bigger marketplace where everybody can participate. And then if you look at promotions, it's no longer a one-way street like we used to have in traditional marketing. A lot of marketing campaigns, a lot of promotions are very collaborative. A lot of community engagement takes place. A lot of buzz is driven through social media challenges, gamified experiences, token rewards. Basically, it's more of like a celebration, an event, if I can call it that way. And then when you look at place, the last P in Web3, I would say that, it's no longer a specific place. It's more like decentralized platforms. Of course, you have your Discord, Telegram. Unicast is very prominent on Telegram as well, where the objective is for the communities to gather, to share ideas and experiences. So, so yeah, that's how I would repurpose the 4 Ps definition for Web3 marketing.
That's great. Thank you for the academic reminder. I did forget about the 4P.
Yeah,
So you talk a
sure.
lot about community. Obviously, it's one of the most critical aspects in Web3. What strategies have been the most effective for TV APAC to develop your community when it comes to Asia?
Oh, so for TZ APAC, I would say the strategy is very much grassroots focused. So when I remember when I had just joined, and travel was just had just opened up. And 6 months into my job, this was like in 2022, I had actually made a trip down to Indonesia. And the Tesos community in Indonesia is very, very vibrant. And we had like a nice coffee session with a lot of members of the community. So founders, builders building on Tesos, artists creating art on Tesos. And one quote that actually stood out was that Tezos is the entry point for a lot of us in blockchain. And these people are not just from your tier one cities, they are also from the tier two cities, they're also from tier three cities, hill stations, small towns, small cities. So in terms of the community, I would say that in Asia especially, a lot of the community that we've built are actually very much embedded into the grassroots. And when you actually look at a lot of the talented artists that are creating art on Tezos, a lot of them are from the grassroots. A lot of them actually end up being advocates for art and Web3 for good, and helping other traditional artists to build their craft also through NFTs. And a lot of the projects as well that have joined our startup programs, a lot of them also have been in the grassroots. So I would say that this grassroots approach is something that we've always had. And how it's actually evolved right now is whenever we have a startup program, the startups are not building alone. They actually have a very strong community of end users and product testers who are there to try out these products, to share feedback with the founders. And these people are basically community members in the Tezos ecosystem that we have been nurturing and building and engaging over the last couple of years. So basically, if you have this, then you basically have a blockchain that is surrounded by a very, very strong culture of community.
Okay. And of course, we are in a space that's constantly evolving. Um, how do you think marketing has evolved in the whole blockchain space over the last few years?
Yeah, so if you look back to even further, like maybe 2017, a lot of the,
Mhm.
the news that I was reading about blockchain has always been around ICO announcements. There were a lot of
Yeah.
buzzwords. And then when we look at 2021, when people NFTs were selling for $69 million and stuff, then there were a lot of promises of disruption, a lot of blockchain a lot of blockchain companies, a lot of brands, they were actually doing very high level, strong awareness tactics, such as sponsoring, sports teams and stuff like that. A lot of Formula One teams actually had blockchain sponsors. So that's how it was back in the day. But now I feel like there is a lot more focus towards real world utility. And what I mean by that is these products that are being built on a blockchain, how can they actually help the man on the streets? We are actually increasingly seeing a lot of good use cases on how blockchain is enabling the society. And at the end of the day, as marketers, a lot of marketers in Web3 are now seeing, trying to really, really understand what the motivations are for users, and then accordingly they can see how they can deliver the value.
Okay, that's very interesting. Um, we're just thinking about how do you think now that marketing differs in Web3 compared to Web2? Do you think it's mostly about the community aspect, or maybe for people who have like no idea about it at all?
You know what, I feel like we sometimes, as marketers, we get in a position where we try to make distinctions and say, oh, you know what, this is the Web3 way of doing things. This is, let's not do this, this is a Web2 way of doing things. I feel like we do not need to resort to such distinctions, because even if we speak about community, some of the most prominent and some of the most prominent startups that you see, some of the most prominent brands that you see, the Web2 brands like Trip.com, for example. Community is also at the very heart of these brands that we use a lot. So, but I guess what Web3 has really succeeded in doing is the co-creation. So, when we talk about community, it's about how can we get the community involved? How can we let them have a stake in a project? How can we get them to engage in the project? How can we get them to buy in? And then after that, you look at blockchain as a technology. So a lot of people in Web3, they value a lot of transparency, they value a lot of authenticity. You can, the traditional marketing spin sometimes might not work. So there's a lot of trust building and information that's needed in Web3. And then obviously in Web3, there's also a lot of token incentives, a lot of loyalty programs. In Web3, they leverage tokenomics. They basically, in terms of helping your projects to grow, there's a lot of user incentives. And I would say another big difference is the educational content. So obviously, it's a very new space, it's a very new technology. So a lot can be lost through the concepts that we want to drive, like decentralization, smart contracts. So the educational component is quite big. So overall, I would say that it's not really important for us to make distinctions between Web2 and Web3. It's more about like embracing the ethos of Web3 and applying it to marketing.
Yes, I agree. You shared a lot about different aspects that maybe can be confusing to some people, like tokenomics or decentralization. How do you manage at TZ APAC to speak both to a technical and to a non-technical audience?
So first and foremost, we usually take a visuals-led communication approach. So fun fact, I actually have our brand and creative lead here. Her name is Jasmine. She's also listening to this space. Jasmine, if you are listening to this, give us a wave. So, thanks to her, a lot of the things that we want to communicate, obviously being representing a layer one proof of stake blockchain, things can be a little bit technical. So, if you are able to distill the information that you want to put out through very, very compelling and easy to consume infographics, that helps a lot. And another thing that we've also embraced is highlighting the
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
people behind the innovation. So when you talk about blockchain, it's very easy to get lost in the technology. It is a beautiful technology, but what actually makes it beautiful is the people behind it. So you look at the blockchain ecosystem, you have artists who are building the craft, minting NFTs on the blockchain. You have founders who have very strong visions, who are building the next killer dApp on the blockchain. You have institutions also who are trying to do good work, led by very visionary professionals. So there's actually a lot of very interesting stories, and these stories have to be told. And when these stories are told, it's more relatable to people, and basically people resonate more with fellow human beings and fellow professionals in the space as well. So yeah, I would say that a human-centric approach has helped us a lot, as well as our visuals-led communication approach.
Okay, understood. Um, Now, maybe to shift a little bit into more of a career aspect,
Yeah.
what would you say is a good way to, let's say, for example, someone that's just finished studying, for example, that want to get into Web3 or is looking to get a marketing role, but he's not very familiar with it. How would you recommend someone to learn Web3 marketing? Should he still learn the traditional marketing, or should he go directly full crypto, full blockchain, full Web3? Or should he learn by it himself as well, or should he get training? Do you think there is already a specific path, or is it still completely new?
So actually, I would what I would say, I'll be really honest over here, Yon, and share that the pros and the cons. So if you look at Web3, you look at the blockchain space. This is actually a space that has actually given a lot of people a lot of chances. You can actually see in the the kind of profiles of title holders in some of in the blockchain projects at the moment. You have people with head roles and people who are driving very exciting things and leading teams at a very young age, younger than perhaps if you join a more traditional Web2 company. So for graduates out there, I would say that this is an industry that gives really, really good chances. It's an industry that can really, really help you to escalate your growth. So definitely worth considering. But what I would say is it's as speaking as somebody who's done hiring, speaking as somebody who has been hired, it is also important to have that bit of knowledge, that bit of background. Why? Because it is a very new technology. If you are in marketing, you are going to be marketing to non crypto natives, you're going to be marketing to crypto natives. If you market to non crypto natives, a lot of messages that you put out there have to be distilled. They have to be very, very simple. If you're marketing to crypto natives, then it's that also requires a different kind of art. So what I would say is if you are a graduate and you are analyzing your options, it could be good to start first as an intern. See if this industry is for you, pick up really good experience, and when you are an intern you actually expose yourself to a lot of really, really good opportunities within the job. A lot of interns who've actually joined TZ APAC in the past, they've been involved in events like SFF, Token 2049. They've helped us to market a lot of world-class art fairs like Art Basel Hong Kong. These are art fairs that we've been involved in the past. So I would say that would be my recommendation. If you are fresh from university, and you are exploring Web3, start first with an internship, and really, really immerse yourself in the company. There's a lot that can be learned, and it's also very important to speak to people who are already in the industry. There are a lot of, I would say that the people in Web3 generally are very open to sharing, open to enabling other people. um yeah, so that the basically try to make, there are barriers to entry like every industry, don't get me wrong. So but what I would say is that take baby steps first. You have very long careers ahead of you. There are many, many exciting industries. At the end of the day, I truly believe that we all have our own purposes, we all have our own callings. So take it one step at a time. Take an internship, explore the industry, see if it's good for you. If it is, then then the hopefully the industry stays very, very exciting, and the job opening stays very exciting. And if not, then there are also other very exciting industries that are out there for you as well.
That's a good tips, and we also often share internship position on Unicast as well.
Yep, I see
Uh,
that.
so for people who would be, for example, already working into marketing with experience and would want to do the transition, would you advise to focus on learning more technical knowledge and communities, or should they focus on a specific core skills to develop?
It's going to be a blend. So first and foremost, if you already have experience in marketing, there are a lot of transferable skills that you'll bring forward. So, whether it's writing strong narratives that can win the hearts and minds of your consumers, you still need that in Web3. Your stakeholder management skills, how do you get your campaigns and new ideas across to stakeholders, you definitely still need that in Web3. How do you and then you look at the soft skills you on, your teamwork and your project management skills. If you're in a leadership position, your leadership skills, internal stakeholder management, like getting your colleagues excited for a new campaign that you're doing. These are things that are still extremely crucial in Web3. So transfer them along with this transition. And then if you look at now Web3 specific skills, it's extremely focused on co-creation. So even though a lot of interactions happen digitally in Web3, but you still need to have a very strong community ethos or like a human ethos on how you can help to empower people. You need a lot more participation. You need to get people participating into the projects that you're marketing. You need to get people on board the messages that you're putting out. It has to resonate a lot. So, and you also have to make yourself very, very comfortable with the new kind of like the new kind of things that a lot of Web3 projects are driving. You look at gamification methods, and then the modes of communications as well are very, very different as well, with a lot using Discord, a lot using Telegram. So yeah, in general, I would say it's a really good blend of both. If you have the first part sorted and you are curious enough to learn, to pick up, to speak to people, expose yourself, get into the deep end of things, then yeah, you could be a really, really good talent for the Web3 space.
That's great. And for all aspiring Web3 marketers, what resources or communities would you recommend they engage with to develop their skills? Any to recommend?
Actually, one really good way would be to actually go to questing platforms. When you go to questing platforms like Zeely, Dmission, TaskOn, you can actually try out a lot of exciting projects, and from it's all packaged into very nice gamified steps, like connecting your wallet. You get some points for that, and then if you and then that will pose different questions. So if you're new and you are wondering what's a wallet, there's a lot of resources online that can help you. The TZ APAC Content Hub, for example, is one of them. If you are looking to try out the projects and learn more about blockchain, go to tzapac.com/content hub. There's a lot of really, really nice resources over there for you to consume. And then so questing platforms, the TZ APAC Content Hub, and also just going for conferences as well. So in Asia alone, we have some really, really solid action-packed conferences happening,
Yeah.
like Token 2049, DEFCON. If you are in any of these cities, go for these conferences, meet people, network, and check out the booths, and go to Luma as well in the build up to these events. Like the event that we had, Tezos Realm, it was free of charge. So we actually had a lot of people who are new to the industry coming to our event and actually, setting up their first wallets and looking at all these dApps for the first time in their life. So there are a lot of resources out there. You will never find a shortage of methods to learn and dive into this industry. It's a very open green field that's friendly to everyone.
Those are great methods to be learning about marketing. We'll share everything with the community afterwards regarding TC content. Um,
Yeah.
any other big platform that would be critical for Web3 marketers to learn? For example, I would think about Zeely and Dune. Do you see any other that are really critical?
Yeah, so the questing platforms are good, because the questing platforms it helps you to experiment. And then I would say, apart from that, a good old networking and learning from people. Obviously, experience is the best teacher. So reach out to people who are experienced in the industry, because they have a wealth of insights to share with you. These guys have failed, have succeeded, and they have a lot of lessons that they can share with you. So I whether you're Web3 or not, uh whenever you are you know r- growing in your career, it's very important to have a strong board of directors for your career. And it doesn't have to be something very formal. It can be people who you look up to. You can have mentors, your bosses, your ex-bosses. These are people who basically look out to you, and these board of directors are actually a great way for you to learn and progress in your career.
That's perfect. And to go on another subject now, are you guys at TZ APAC currently looking for talent? And if so, for which role and what quality do you currently look for?
I'm afraid our team is more or less set for 2025, so we don't really have an opening at the moment. But you know,
Maybe
it's
interns in the future?
uh let's see. I will definitely keep you updated, Yuan, and see if we can put something up in Unicast if we reach that point. But right now we are all good. We have our strategy set for 2025 for marketing for TZ APAC. So right now we are all good to go. But in any case we do, then I will definitely let Unicast know so that the community can look at it and see if it's a good fit for them.
That's great. Do you have any best practice for people who are looking for a job or common mistake to avoid when they are job hunting?
Common mistakes to avoid. Okay, let's break this down. I would say that when I, let's not go so far, Johan. I do feel like when when in the past when I was hiring, when we had openings and you would actually go through CVs and stuff, you you still see people turning up late for interviews. You still see people who are, you know, um, their CV might have a lot of buzzwords that don't tell the hirer a lot of things. So I feel like it's. I know this has been said a lot of times and it's nothing new, but we do have to get back to our basics. Candidates have to get back to basics and make sure that all this is aligned. And you would also be surprised to know that there are people who even come to interviews without doing research about TZ APAC, about the Tezos blockchain. And that to me is a big red flag. It does not take much for you to do research and actually see and come prepared for the meeting. The best candidates who come are very much prepared. If it's a marketing candidate, they look at the ambassador programs that we've done in the past. They look at the community reward programs that we've done in the past. They look at our social media, and they come in super super equipped based on what the role asks them for. And these are the candidates that actually make it very far. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is be intentional about your purpose. What's your life purpose? The sweet spot. No employer can ever help can ever help uh, a candidate to fulfill their purpose. But if you have your purpose in mind and you understand what the mission of the company is and the skills and talent that the job requires of you, you can start seeing whether it's a good fit for you or not. Because skills, talent, mission, these are all actually smaller components of the purpose that you have. So be very, very intentional about your purpose. The third thing I would say is it's also very important, in addition to your hard skills, to be very communicative and demonstrative of your soft skills. Every leader every hirer wants to see somebody who takes initiatives. Every hirer wants to see somebody who's curious. Every hirer wants to see a candidate who has a lot of substance, is willing to get on the ground and work with teammates and be curious, want to explore new things, is okay with experimentation. So so yeah, these are the three things I would say candidates should be equipped with when they try to join a new company or they are part of a hiring process.
Yeah, I do agree. Acting professional goes a long way when it comes to finding a new job and increasing your chances. So to go on another subject now, could you share about what are the emerging trends into Web3 that you are the most excited about?
Oh, so look, this is a very, very exciting
Maybe
space. There's
there's
a
many.
lot to be. Yeah. There really is a lot. There really, really is a lot. But what I would say is the emergence of other new technologies as well, like generative AI, and a lot of other a lot of projects are also increasingly getting their consumers and people involved. I think that's a great trend because it really supercharges the ethos of Web3. Like if I take for example one of the projects that was in 45 Labs last year, they're called Akaswap. They are basically one of the biggest NFT marketplaces on Tezos in Asia, and so basically they have like a cool new product which is like gaming as a service or marketing as a service, you can call it. So what they actually did last year was they were piloting a generative art campaign, a generative art feature, and what they actually did was to get users and community members to actually take a quiz, and the quiz will basically ask you, what are you predicting for the future? So it will actually ask you like, okay, I'm picturing a blank future. So you can say like, I'm predicting a hopeful future. I'm predicting a interesting future. I'm predicting an exciting future. But then on the other spectrum, there's also, I'm picturing a doom future. So after they ask you all these questions, then accordingly, an artwork minted on Tezos will be generated. And you that saw a lot of people posting it on Twitter, sharing with their friends about this shiny new NFT, that and a lot of these people are not artists, and they're just sharing out there the exciting artworks that they've just minted and stuff. So that's very cool. I think we're gonna see more of this, more of very exciting projects, just getting people more and more involved into their relevant projects, and also incorporating other exciting
Mhm.
new technologies like generative AI.
That's great. Could you share, maybe as a last question, your proudest achievement so far at TZ APAC and what exciting stuff you have coming soon at TZ APAC as well?
Wow, that's a tough one.
Any big
um,
event otherwise that you are preparing?
oh yeah. No, there are some really exciting campaigns coming up, Johan. So first and foremost, we actually are in the last month of the application phase of 45 Labs. So 45 Labs is a startup studio that really delivers very personalized support to very talented builders in Web3, and we help them to transform into visionary founders. So that's happening. So we have a month more for the application phase to finish. And in light of that, we are actually launching next week a campaign called 45 Labs Rapid Fire. And what happens, Johan, is we're going to be taking over a couple of communities. We're going to be taking over a couple of social media handles where we actually are going to accept a lot of questions from Web3 founders. They can ask burning questions on scaling their startup, marketing their product, getting connections to VCs, raising funds, any burning questions that projects and startups might have, Web3 startups might have. And the 45 Labs team, which is made up of our startup coach with decades of experience, our startup manager who has worked with more than 30 projects in the last 4 years, and then you also have my marketing team, who we have 2 decades worth of experience, who are going to come into the relevant tweets and reply directly to the people and give the advice to them. And so, if there are any Web3 founders in this space, you need any advice, please stay tuned to TZ APAC Twitter, and you'll get a lot of updates. We will try our best to reply to you as soon as possible with the advice. If not, we will reply to you within 24 hours. So that's that's one of the very exciting campaigns that we have. It's part of a broader program, the 45 Labs programs that we have. And you asked me earlier about my achievements. Honestly, I'm very grateful for even the most routine things in the beauty about being in part of the TZ APAC team is that we get to work with a lot of founders, a lot of startup founders, and the marketing team. Sometimes we get on the ground and we help a lot of these projects with marketing related workshops, advisory sessions, and when you actually see feedback from the founders that they actually got to action upon the advice that you gave, action upon the insights that you shared, and they actually applied it and it helped their business to grow, that something like that is just enough to make me very, very happy and fulfilled. So yeah, in TZ APAC we celebrate all kinds of achievements, small and big.
That's perfect. We'll be sharing everything as well about 45 Lab for people who are interested about it. I think we have reached the end of this session. That was a fantastic session. Huge thank you to you, Jivan, for sharing your journey, insight into TZ APAC, and valuable tips for anyone navigating or interested about marketing in Web3. So if you enjoyed today's discussion, you can stay connected with us by following us on X, Unicast AI, for updates on future AMAs, career resources, and tips. We also have the Telegram job board, the mini app, to explore the latest Web3 opportunities. And as well, we have, of course, the networking channel. To learn more about Tezos and TZ APAC, we'll share all the socials so you can dive deeper into the ecosystem. Thank you again, Jivan. Do you have any last word to conclude this AMA today?
No, the pleasure is mine, Yuan. Thank you for having me, and thank you to all the people who've tuned in. Keep up the good work with Unicast. At the end of the day, we are all part of the same industry. We are all empowering people. Unicast is empowering companies to hire great talent. It's empowering talents, connecting them to the right jobs. The right jobs can really give you a different trajectory in your life. TZ APAC is empowering founders, artists, end users. So let's just continue to do the good work and continue collaborating and yeah, just putting out good vibes out there to the Web3 universe.
Thank you. I hope we can meet soon again. So we are planning otherwise more AMAs with industry experts. So keep an eye out for exciting announcement. If you have any suggestion or question for upcoming session, drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback. Thank you everyone for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you at the next AMA. See you. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye bye.